couple of years ago, my wife and I got tickets for a concert. Didn't want a set of tickets, so we invited friends to go, and we had a great time. It was one of those old groups, old farts all going to the. We were drinking, having a good time. When it was time to leave, we had about a mile. We had to walk along a secluded area next to a forest. And at the end, it's just old couples, 60s plus, and didn't think much of it. But when we reached the end of that place right here, we ran across these two guys that were coming in the other direction. They walked around us, and right away I knew there was big trouble.
Danger, Will Robinson.
Within 2 steps
Danger.
after they passed us, they had drawn their knives and were about ready to stick us and rob us. But to their surprise, I had already had a knife to their throat, had cut one guy's throat slightly, and was holding them at bay. They didn't expect. The last thing they expected was some crazy Vietnam vet with a knife against their throat. So my best Hannibal Lecter voice, which would be just slightly above a whisper, and face to face, eye to eye, I explained to them. I said, "You effed with the wrong guy." I said, "I'm going to tell you what to do and when to do it. You make one wrong move, I'm going to cut your throat, and I'm going to catch you looking at the other guy, and I'm going to cut your throat. Do we understand each other?" I told them, drop their knives. My friend went to pick him up with his hands, and I quickly stopped, and I said, no, kick him over into the grass, into the woods. And I said, in case I got to kill these guys, I don't want your fingerprints on it. Well, from that minute on, I owned these two guys. I asked them if they had a gun. Neither of them had a gun. I said, looked at the other guy. I said, in a second, I'm going to tell you to turn around and start running. You're going to keep on running. You're never going to turn your head around. I said, because if you stop running or turn your head, I'm going to slit this guy's throat, and then I'm going to come get you. You understand? I said, turn around. Take off. So I looked at the other guy, and while the other one was running, and I'm watching him, and this guy's getting a little upset now because I'm watching. He's hoping his buddy keeps running and never turns around. Well, he did exactly what he was supposed to do, so there was no real problem. But why were we doing that? Again, I'm still talking to him, my best Hannibal Lecter voice, and whispering to him, telling him that, he's just so lucky, if my wife wasn't here, I would have killed you right away. If I had one more drink, I probably would have killed you right away. I said, you guys really, really suck at this. This is the luckiest day of your life because you pulled this on me and my wife was here. Now you turn around, take off running. Now. Well, okay. So how did I pull this off? It was slow motion perception and ESP. ESP, take it or leave it, I don't care what you believe in. It's called street smarts or intuition. But I knew they were going to come after us. I knew they were going to take us. And this whole thing happened within 2 steps. As soon as they passed us, it was less than 2 steps, and they were on us with knives drawn and were about to mug us. How did I do it? Like I said, slow motion perception and the fact that I knew what was going to happen. How did I think of this plan? I use slow motion perception. We all have it. You get it when you throw a baseball. You get it when you play volleyball, when you're trying to catch a ball. In particular, it's when you're trying to catch a ball that your time perception slows down while your brain overloads and tries to figure out how to catch the ball. It happens to us all. If you were to get up out of your chair right now, go ahead, get up out of your chair right now and walk over to a table there and touch it and come back. You just experienced slow motion perception and you didn't even realize it. Your brain overloads for a split second trying to figure out how to get up, how to move over there, and what you're going to do. But you don't realize it. Slow motion perception is something very new to mankind. The only records, or the latest or earliest records that have ever been located by scientists goes back to the American Industrial Revolution. Easy for you to say. The American Industrial revolution. That would be about the 1900s. That's the first time they've ever had or found any kind of record of this happening. So that'd be about a little over 100 years. What is it? The brain overloads to a point where your perception of time, because of your brain speed, is greater than anybody else's. So everybody else around you sees 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. Meanwhile, it felt like a minute to you. Right? How that works is when you sense a danger, and I knew that these guys were going to come after us, and for a second I had my knife out, which you see right there, and they had their knives out, but they didn't notice I did. I was in slow motion perception, and I had planned this whole thing out in 1 second. Put my knife against his throat, and what I was waiting for was I was waiting for him to open his knives. I knew I had to surprise them. And how did I know? In that 1 second, I figured they had 9-inch stilettos, which I happen to have, and I know something that most people don't know. Listen, heard that noise? I was waiting for that noise, because there's one thing that anybody who has a stiletto must do. Anybody who has one of these knives must do. When you go to pop it, you look down at it. After it pops open, you look up. Guess what? When they looked up, I had already cut one guy's throat and had the knife against his jugular vein. I knew I had that one opportunity to surprise them, and it worked. How did I know that? I learned when I was in Vietnam, whenever I got into very heavy combat. It's life or death, you knew you were going to die sort of situation. When I had bullets whizzing past my head and stuff like that, my brain would go into this slow motion perception. I had no idea why it was doing it, but it was like everything happened in slow motion. And it was so cool. And believe me, it gave me an edge when a lot of things happened. It saved my life a number of times. But I'm so used to experiencing it that I realize it that I have it. And in that split second, those 2 seconds I had from when I saw them until I carried out my plan, I had planned exactly what I did. And the funniest part about it is the guy and I that knew what had happened forgot about it, and we didn't even talk about it for 6 months. My wife, we had never said anything to her. She thought I was just standing there talking to these guys because, like I said, I was just whispering. I got in a little trouble when she realized that we were being mugged. What I had done. But it was pretty cool.